I don't know if I said this before, but this is so obvious. I can't believe that it never occurred to anyone before, and I haven't heard this before. Uh, our little buddy Justin Trudeau, who I've immense compassion for, um, inherited the narcissistic gene from his mother, for sure. His mother was the narcissist. She did a lot of great work advocating for the mentally ill and all that, but uh, she could do that because she was crazy, right? She was. You just look at anything she did back in the early days, and she's a narcissist extraordinaire. So much of what was produced there was just pure narcissism. People like getting high, and oh, it's just gross. It's absolutely gross. Um, and so his father married her, I think, as a kind of a breeding mare, probably. He's quite a bit older than her. She was really young and like a pothead, kind of sex addict type person. And, you know, he could have done better than that. But he didn't. And then he had the three kids, I think, right? One of Justin Trudeau's brothers died in a ski accident. And I can say this just as sure as anything. That when he was young, he would have very often been either neglected or adored. And that's how you create a narcissist. You've got the narcissistic gene, and then when you're young, you're kind of fluctuate between being adored and being neglected. There's no way that his mother couldn't have fluctuated between those two things because she was just crazy. I'm sure that he would deny this, and then I don't know how related this is to the narcissism exactly, but what happened to him when he was quite young is that his mother publicly cuckolded his father. So I don't know what that would do to a person. I don't know that that kind of experience would lead to narcissism, but it would definitely be quite stressful, right? And for a while there was some speculation that probably Justin Trudeau's father was Fidel Castro, because he looked a lot like Fidel Castro, and because it was really well known that Justin Trudeau's father and Fidel Castro were very good friends and spent a lot of time with each other. And it was my guys that actually nailed it down and realized, no, she was not in Fidel Castro's country even during the time that, you know, whatever time she would have gotten pregnant for, you know, Justin Trudeau born later, whatever. I don't know how to say that. And anyway, so it was like my guys that decided, no, it's impossible. Sorry, you have to give up on that. And I've never heard anybody say this either. But one is the question whether or not Justin Trudeau is Fidel Castro's son. That's one question. But the other question is whether or not Fidel Castro had carnal relations with Justin Trudeau's mom. And the answer to that is, yeah, probably. Fidel Castro used to argue that he slept with 3 women per day. One in the morning, one in the afternoon, and one in the evening. Powerful men tend to be that way, communist or not, I don't know. Mao Zedong used to fill swimming pools with naked, nubile women and go swimming in the pool with them, which sounds impressive enough, but like these days they do it, put it on TV. All kinds of shows, with they're not exactly naked, but they're close enough to naked, swimming around in the pool, and it's just like common now. But anyway, that's what Fidel Castro was like, and Justin's mother, Margaret Trudeau, was kind of a slut. And so the chances that she and Fidel Castro never had sex, less than zero. Was it possible? I guess not. But I just find it odd that nobody's mentioned that. Because if you want to understand like what's wrong with him, there's obviously something really wrong with him. That explanation is just sitting right in front of your face. Just as obvious as can be. And then there was the public education. He actually has a degree in education from UBC. Sorry, that's not an education. That's an indoctrination. So there is that. And then there's, the things that he's done. He's, for fun and profit and power, dismantling Canadian democracy. It's absolutely unforgivable. He and Theresa Tam should be in prison, awaiting a trial for treason or something like that. And she's as crazy as she is because, and this happens a lot. Really ugly women attribute the treatment they get to racism because it's easier to accept, and I've seen this a bunch. It's easier to believe that people didn't like you because you're Chinese, and actually they didn't like you because you're ugly. I've seen that just so clear, it's absolutely unreal. That's part of her problem. But both of them should be in prison.